Do you guys know Myrica californica? Pacific Coast wax myrtle. There's a reason why they call it Pacific Coast wax myrtle. There's a reason why the name is Myrica californica. You might notice that californica is very close to California. That's where we are right now. And I am smack dead in the middle of habitat for this plant. This plant is native to the coastline of the West Coast, from Vancouver all the way down to, believe it or not, Long Beach. Those are two disjointed populations, which is kind of interesting in and of itself, which would be fun to do further research on how that occurred. But then there's a massive uninterrupted band of these plants, between those two extremities, up and down the coast from Santa Barbara all the way up to through Washington. But anyway, I consider this one, and I think others do too, probably the best hedge plant that California has to offer. It has these beautiful evergreen leaves. It's the middle of winter right now. It's like February 2nd or 3rd. And very fine texture. The flowers are rather insignificant, but there's berries that come onto the plant, and they're rather insignificant as well in the fall. But you hear them, the birds love them. So here I am at my place up here, and I'm the exotic plant guy, but I love my natives too. I'm in a real native ecosystem here, as you can tell by the views off in the distance. So my theory was, you got all these native oaks and everything here. So my theory was, okay, let's just ease into the exotic stuff. Let's get the most exotic stuff California has to offer. And it's probably not a good time here to show it, but these are Zauschneria, California fuchsias. You got your beautiful yucca whipple eyes, some more yucca whipple eye. I collected these myself, little bird baths that I made of these rocks, manzanitas, and monkey flowers, ceanothus, and even a toyon volunteer. But there were a whole bunch of big oaks here, and I was like, these things are getting out of control. In fact, there was a huge redwood here, and that was getting out of control. And I'm like, I better get them now before they get bigger. Took them out and opened up all this beautiful vista and sky space. And also, at some point, redwoods, what goes up must come down. I figured it better to come down at that size rather than even bigger. But then I planted, in lieu of the privacy I had from the oaks, built a really nice mailbox too out of leftover materials from jobs. I planted also this fence is sort of owned by the association. They told me that they're just not going to repair it anymore. They're going to let it fall over. I'm like, all right, whatever. So to get the privacy for when I play basketball naked, which I haven't done yet, but someday I might, need privacy for that. Fence might be gone. So how do I get the privacy? Plant Myricas, 1, 2, 3, and what used to be 4 and 5. And I am really water thrifty. So I know that these plants don't need water once established. So I tried to just give them a little bit of water through the couple summers, and I didn't quite get those well enough over there. So I have 2 more planting right now. There's a giant storm coming tomorrow. And so that's what's happening here. I'll go and show you what they look like once they've been established and how they need no water at all at that point in their life. They can get 30 feet tall, but these have been here for 20 something years. Here's the fruit. See this? It's just kind of insignificant. But you know what? You can, if you have gastrointestinal issues, you can, rather than going for the Pepto-Bismol, you can, I guess there's some compounds in this fruit you can grind up in the leaves and the bark, apparently, that will help with your gastrointestinal issues. So that's something fun to know about. The other thing that's fun to know about is that they actually can tolerate really poor soils. And the reason is that in sand, there's really no organic nutrients, and they grow in sand dunes. How do they get their organic nutrients to get them going? Well, they fix it from the atmosphere. They need nitrogen. There's lots of nitrogen in the atmosphere. It goes into the plant, and it fixes into the root system. There's nodules that hold the nitrogen. So they actually build fertility in soil where there's no fertility. So it can grow in really poor soils because of that. It creates its own fertilizer source. But you can see the buds, they're starting to swell up for the seasonal push of growth. And you can see here, after 20 years. I've got some that are probably 12 feet tall, and they act as a really nice screen to my driveway. I took when I wanted to create the naked basketball court, I took all the dirt from down there and I made a big mound here, which kind of raised it up, made it more privatized. These don't get any water whatsoever. There's probably the prettiest one of all. It's over here. And look at this beautiful tree. Never done a thing to it. There's a couple little dead branches on it. I guess I could trim those off. But you could see you could turn it into a small tree if you wanted to. But look, here's the trunk. And yeah, it's just a really nice plant. It doesn't get any water. Did I mention that? So Myrica californica. And this is Lucy. She's semi-free range. And we're going to be planting those today. If you want yourself a really good hedge and you have gastrointestinal issues and you're too cheap to go buy stuff from the store for that, this might be the plant for you. So keep that in mind. And yeah, maybe someday I'll be on the basketball court doing my thing. Just hasn't happened yet.